Schools across the country could see major disruptions tomorrow as teachers are planning coordinated walkouts tied to the May Day protest against President Trump's policies. Well, in North Carolina and Wisconsin, thousands of teachers have forced multiple school districts to cancel class. Critics say these protests put politics ahead of the classroom, especially as academic performance remains a top concern. And in Chicago, schools will stay open despite a push from the teachers union urging them to close. Instead, the district will have a day of civic action for students to take part in civic activities. Probably not the best move in a district where only about 43% of students can read at grade level, with math proficiency even lower. The largest teachers union in America, the National Education Association, is urging teachers to push for fairness, dignity, and more public investment in people rather than profits. You know, Emily, when I looked at the two reasons cited for the protest, it was immigration and tax. And I thought, OK, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. What's the problem? Immigration. I was thinking of Sheridan Gorman, who was killed close to a college campus, Lincoln Riley, on a run at a college campus. I think there'd be a little nuance in the viewpoints here.
I think people would be hard-pressed to find one teacher or one student that can articulate with specificity a persuasive reason why they are protesting President Trump in those subjects and why. These students, it's one big extension of our A-block conversation. The indoctrination is real. And I posit that the flexibility with which our unions clearly and our school districts view attendance is in large part because of COVID. Because remember, it used to be that everyone saw that truancy and absence from actual studying was a direct correlation between failures in the subjects. Now the truancy is on the part of the institution of attendance. The meaningful connection with students and teachers has just been obliterated when everything that we thought was important, which was attendance, low ratios of teachers to students, impact and investment of parents and involvement. I feel like, I don't know, are you agreeing with me or disagreeing with me?
I'm just wondering when performance is going to be relevant and where merit is going to be relevant.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger issue for me is I don't mind a natural discourse of ideas. But there's a time and a place for it. And when we look at these students and some of the test scores that you put up on the screen, the performance is awful and the merit is not right. And so if teachers want to advance their careers and want to make more money, which I think all teachers should make more money, if the performance and the outcome of the students is better, as opposed to this civic discussion, there's a place for it. But walk out.
When you talk about teachers making more money, it is ironic that this comes on the heels of a report that $1 billion went to political causes. And you'd think, oh, wow, if that money could have gone to raising teacher pay, maybe it would have made a difference, Arthel.
And that's a good point, because I think what we should look at is the why. Oftentimes, when someone feels that they're not being heard, they take drastic measures. So perhaps this teacher walkout is not anti-President Trump, but yet a cry out to President Trump to dedicate more resources to these students and budgets for the teachers so we can get those reading scores up. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
That's not what they're doing.
That doesn't make any sense?
No, it's literally like a protest against the president. I mean, they've said it's run by the teachers unions, not by the teachers. And, you know, here's the problem. There is a big disconnect in schools between teachers who are good people. They are public servants who have a calling and they want to teach and they want to make kids' lives better. But in many of these states, they are beholden. They cannot teach unless they're members of teachers unions. And they have to give part of their salary to these very political. Okay, so if we have the day off, it's International Workers' Day tomorrow. That's a communist holiday. That's what they're doing on May 1st. They are celebrating communism. So what are they going to do? These kids are going to stay home and smoke weed and play video games? Oh, that'll get the test scores up. I'm sure if they wanted to have conversations at school and they wanted to donate a block of time at school so people could talk about, you know, their visions for making society better, that might be a much better place to start. But I think we could even back the train up a little bit. Marcus is absolutely right. Teach people how to read and write. There are kids in AP English classes who cannot read, yet somehow they are in AP level classes and they are illiterate.
So then how do we fix it? That's the point. How do we get those levels up, the proficiency levels up?
I think it starts by, and Marcus, you were commenting on kids being in school during the break, keeping kids in school, because as my frustration as White House press secretary was looking at places like Chicago and providing scientific peer-reviewed research that kids should be in school, and then COVID was used for many months thereafter into the Biden administration to keep kids out of school when there was no medical reason to do so.
Yeah.
I said to you that I disagreed with your point. I didn't disagree that there needs to be a cry out from teachers, but I don't think it's at a federal level. If we look at the educational system, it is a local and state issue. And in the state of Illinois and in the city of Chicago, we have a fundamental problem. I'm from there. We have a fundamental problem with the focus on the teachers, with the focus on the training, with the focus on the performance and the merit. And instead, we're dealing with people saying, I want to walk out. I don't know that President Trump is going to be able to solve things universally.
President Trump can't solve everything.
One of the greatest success stories in education is Mississippi, which was at the bottom.
Problem.
If you
Address
look
the
at
kids'
California,
issues.
Illinois, New York, they are beholden to teachers' unions who do so much more obfuscating and making sure that teachers are protected and unfireable.
And I'm
as
not
opposed
disagreeing
to,
with you, Kennedy. I don't believe that these teachers should be protected behind the veil of a union. They should be pro-students, period.
Amen.
Okay?
Pro-students, pro-learning. It makes our country so much better if kids are challenged. And we do return to a meritocracy because, believe it or not, kids are not disposable. They want to learn. They want to be challenged. They want to be better.
Yep. You know, Mississippi's doing something right when even the New York Times was forced to write this big write-up on the successes of Mississippi.
That's right.
Hey, everyone.
Political headlines. Surgeon General shift. President Trump has withdrawn the nomination of Casey Means for Surgeon General due to a stalled confirmation process in the Senate. He has now selected Nicole Safier for the role. Pentagon budget clashes. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth faced intense questioning on Capitol Hill regarding a proposed $1.5 trillion budget. During the hearing, he sparred with lawmakers.